we are live and we are back, and we are here with Marius Katora, and he's from
Yes,
We Cure Boredom. This is going to be
exactly.
a great talk because here, let me just pull that out there right there because he's talking about passion, paychecks, and parenthood. I love that. I love that title. Balancing life to make games. And just believe me, we were just talking about it. There was a time when I was live streaming 16 hours a day, and I did that for a long time. And that's not good for your relationship, for your health, for your partner, for your kids. So don't burn yourself out like I did at one point. Keep that passion. That's right. Okay, Marius, take it away. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, do you see my screen? Perfect. Right. So, are you ready to be entertained? For the next 51 hour, you will hear me talking nonstop. I will be making jokes, good jokes, hopefully, and some funny wordplays. Right. So, welcome to Passion, Paychecks, and Parenthood. This talk is a little bit different compared to the previous one that you saw. It's focused on how to get games ready for publishing when you're a parent, when you have a full-time job, and a passion for making games, or and so on, right? So I also made a little bit, balance your life to make a hobby, right? Because this can be applied to actually any hobby that you have. The blueprint, I would say, the playbook that I will share is for you to do whatever you want. Play golf, design buildings, craft beer, or of course making games. But I also want to start with a big disclaimer here. This is not a quit your job and follow your dream talk. This is about how to chase your dream without quitting the rest of your life. So this is what I have prepared for you today, right? So of course the intro, the vanity portion of my talk, talking about myself and with your boredom, the passion, what is it, where it started for me, the paychecks, who actually funds the passion, the parenthood, which is an exciting chapter in life, one, and brings a wonderful perspective about life and so on. And then, of course, when all of them collide together, what should you do? And I'm going to tell you some stories what I did. And of course, how to fix stuff, how to balance everything, the human side of the story, and of course, some key takeaways. And of course, if you have some time for some questions and answers, for some questions from your side, right? Now, this is a slide that I didn't mention because, for every talk that I give, I want to start with a mantra slide. I want to start with something that sets the mood, right? So here in Europe, it's already 9-10 o'clock. It's the perfect time for a good and interesting talk. Instead of watching something on Netflix or the UEFA Champions League, I'm happy that you tuned into me to talk about this, right? And just as I mentioned before, every talk I do have a mantra slide, right? So for this, today's mantra is find your orbit. It sounds maybe a little esoteric, but believe me, if it all makes sense, the more you hear me talk, right? Spoken like a guru, right? I specifically chose this picture that shows part of the Milky Way galaxy because, as you can see, all the stars, all the celestial bodies, the objects, probably some aliens, hopefully some aliens that you see here, sort of live in a balance, right? If you think about Earth orbiting the sun, it's a perfect limbo of getting close and further away from it, right? Not too hot, not too cold, just perfect. What I want to highlight is that the balance and the way is achievable and always have been. And when in doubt, you should just look up the stars and then, because they always find their orbit, right? So passion, paychecks, and parenthood, they pull you in different directions. But when you find your orbit, I hope you see what I did here. The rhythm that works for you, you can keep going without burning out. And an emphasis on burning out, I just talked with Dan about it. When it comes to passion, you sometimes lose yourself doing the things the thing that you like, right? Now, this is the second slide that I didn't mention anything about it. So why this talk? Why the need from my side to give this talk? When I was speaking with friends about it and advertising, hey, join me, watch me talk about this, I wanted to say that everyone asked me, but why? Why are you talking about this? And of course, me being a very humble person, people know me, I just said, yeah, I want to be famous. I want to boost my ego even further. Well, no, but joke aside, it's due to what I see around me, right? So I see people around me being just an autopilot, 9 to 5 jobs. They wake up, shower, commute for 1 hour. They work, they have meetings, customer meetings, they have lunch, then again meetings, and then again work. So afterwards, you commute back home. Maybe spend some time with your family, dinner, and then go to sleep, right? So even just talking about this, I think I lost half of you paying attention here. So the thing is, people are not happy. Maybe not happy is maybe a too strong word to use, but what I see is what I see and what I have the sensation is that something is missing here, and this is usually a hobby, a passion for something. We are so stuck in our day-to-day job and doing the things that we do that we forget that we need something for us to do, right? So I wanted to give this talk and tell everyone what you're missing is life. It's not money, it's not kids, it's not everything. It's actually a thing, a hobby, something that you like doing, right? That you enjoy performing, that you enjoy creating. And yes, let's talk about myself, and enough with the motivational part. If you want to see more, just join my TED Talk. Joking. So let's talk about me. And welcome to the vanity part of my talk. I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a gamer, and I'm a legend. And funny story behind it, right? So I'm a husband. I've been married for 10 years, going strong. I think I was just, my wife was yelling from the other room, it's 11 years, so it's 11 years. Got to love my wife for this. I'm a dad to a 3-year-old boy, which is full of energy every day. He wakes up at 6 o'clock. You can set your time after him, and he has so curious about everything. Amazing. And of course, I'm a gamer, and I do like to play my fair share of games, to be honest with you. Of course, spending maybe a little bit too much money on them, but I justify it. I'm telling myself and my wife that I need to do research by playing games, like every game developer should do. I know I need to see the UI, I need to see the user experience, I need to see the core mechanics, I need to experience myself the core mechanics. How do I feel after playing such a quest, such a design decision, right? And if you are new to this game industry stuff, and in order to make games, and you really want to see how game designers take decision and want to see the process of of taking decisions in that regard, I highly recommend for you to play Half-Life 2 with the developer commentary enabled. So it's so insightful to see how they structure the levels, the feedback that they got from playtesters, the decisions that have been made, and also the limitation of the technology that influence some decisions in the game, right? Very, very interesting. So highly recommend it. The legend part comes from the fact because when I was leading a tech support team in Romania, we would organize these gaming nights, of course, after work hours. And we would just sit in the office and play games like, old school Counter-Strike, Unreal Tournament, Warcraft 3 maps with tower defense, Gem tower defense, I think you know them. And of course, Half-Life with the map Crossfire. And I would whoop their asses, dominate them when it comes to Half-Life Crossfire. Some, I would say, they let me win because I was their boss, but I say it's just skill. Yeah. And another thing about myself, I've been for the last 15 years working for different Fortune 500 companies, and the last 7 years being active in the augmented reality I would say industry. Had several roles from sales to customer success to product development, and of course also game development. So this is the stuff about me. Let's talk about We Cure Boredom, right? So We Cure Boredom was founded by yours truly and Alex Pinu in 2023. Our motto for our gaming studio is We Cure Boredom one game at a time. So very proud about this. And our first commercial release was Cosmic Resistance, which is a 2D casual RTS game. And now we are working on a more ambitious 3D project called Wojtek. It's a space simulator game in which you repair satellites on Earth's orbit, right? Also, maybe just to touch upon a little bit upon this, it's our way of raising concerns about the huge amount of junk in space that we currently have orbiting Earth, and that maybe we should just repair the stuff and not let it sit there and or burn it, or if we would burn it up in our atmosphere, that also would work for the time being, right? So to show you a little bit of Wojtek, I have a short trailer. Let me hope it starts. Okay.
Wojtek, we've got a problem. Need you up there fast. Is that part of the SOP? Watch out, we detected a meteor. And we detected a solar flare. Take cover. That is a precision hearing. What was that?
So, of course, you can wishlist Wojtek on Steam. But the funny thing about these trailers, especially when you are in the early phases of making the games, they're mostly already outdated when it comes to the background and the mechanics that we have there. So, but yeah, of course, wishlist this. Now moving on to the passion, the origin story, right? So let's start with something simple. What is passion? And I tried to find the definition online, and nothing actually grinded my gears, I would say. I didn't find anything that I found good. So my own definition of passion is something that I like doing and forget the notion of time. Spend hours working on games, but feel like minutes, right? So when I do that, when you do such a thing in which you lose yourself working on, I think it's a passion or a hobby in that regard, right? So in 2015, I decided I would be interested in making games. Of course, I learned Unity, got a Unity developer certification, participated in 2 game design courses, and just started to talk about how to make games, and started watching YouTubes about it, right? But of course, like every good story starts, I stopped doing it for the next 6 to 7 years. So things changed. We moved countries. COVID hit, and in 2022, when my wife got pregnant, like every responsible adult, I thought to myself, what can I do to make my life easier and prepare myself to be a dad? Let's start an expensive hobby, making games. That's everyone thinks about this. It's the logical way to do it. So, but in 2022, I decided to maybe change the approach about it, and really it shows because it worked. We are 3 years later, and I'm still making games with at least 2 games released. And then so the approach that I took, I realized I needed a team to do it, right? I needed a coder, I needed a game designer, I needed an artist, right? So I called Alex, my co-founder, and I was like, hey man, it's going to be a lot of work. We will be paid almost nothing. Are you in? And he said yes. So that's great. But unfortunately, we did not find an artist to accept the same conditions. I don't know why. They're so good terms, right? And but one important thing that we wanted to have, we're talking about making games and making a game studio in general, or when you want to start a company, right? You want to have a good foundation, right? So we first wanted to see how we work together. Are we a fit? Does Alex like how I work? Do I like how he works, right? In order to test this out, we decided, hey, let's make a game. Let's make a simple game to see if there is synergy between us. And in the end, we made Space Moonlander. We started, hey, let's reinvent the wheel. There is Moonlander, added the space to it. And then Space Moonlander was a very casual, simple game in which you take cargo from one space station which was orbiting the moon, and then you just have to land it on the moon, right? And it worked out, right? Afterwards, we launched it on iOS and Android. It was a good, but I don't think it's so. It's definitely not available anymore because I didn't renew the Apple developer tax there. So, but after we finished the game, we agreed that we make a great team, but you know how life hits you. My son was born, so I told Alex, hey, I need 3-4 months to help my wife with the kid to figure things out. It's too much for me. And I took a 3 or 4 months break before starting the project, right? So again, Alex was pivotal in doing this, and he's a brilliant coder in that regard. So moving on, we decided, okay, once I settled with the baby stuff and I knew what I was doing, if you can say that, we decided to work on cosmic resistance, right? So initially, we said, with Recur Boredom, we said that every project that we have, that we want to make, should be 6 months long. So every game that we want to create, from ideation to publishing, should be 6 months, not a day over. But of course, reality hit, and it took us 1 year to make this game, right? So, and the thing is, as we needed to do a lot of other things like marketing, editing pixel art, creating trailers, team page, flyers, capsule art for the game. There was a lot of things that we needed to learn. We were not good at it, and we did it in the end, right? So again, I don't want this to sound like I'm complaining about it, but I'm just telling you that reality really set in, and it was different. With this, I mean, we had a lot of more things to do for only just 2 people that were working on the project, right? But in the end, I'm super proud of what we did, and it showed that we were like a good old machine of making cosmic resistance, right? So, okay, enough talk about the origin story, and let's talk about the good side of passion and also the bad side of passion, right? So, I specifically have this Venn diagram, if you want to call it, right? Things that I enjoy doing, things that I'm good at, and things that people will pay me to do, right? I really want, my talk is going to the direction that a hobby, a passion, you should generate revenue. You should maybe, have a side hustle, or, may have some passive income and stuff like that. But this is not the case. I mean, honestly, if you want to be fulfilled with the things that you're doing as a hobby, there is also the option not to generate, not to make a business out of it. You just want to do the hobby maybe you want to be relaxed by doing it, right? So again, this is just a side note. I think it's very important. Not every hobby, not every passion should turn into a business. Now, of course, the good side of the passion is obvious. It's the feeling of creating something that's yours. First time showcasing of the game, first time showing off the game, showcasing the game, the first wish list that we got, right? And I remember specifically here, the first event that we went was a game developer conference in Bratislava, right? It was full of, it was an industry-specific event, so we had a lot of people working in the industry. People loved it. We got good feedback, constructive feedback. But seeing actually gamers and game designers and people in the industry enjoy it, it is something amazing, right? It motivates you. And also, I remember after that event, checking the wish list a couple of days back, we got like 20 or 30 wish lists, which is actually nothing in the end, but we were so happy about it. Look what we did. Look how many wish lists we have. And this is, again, we went to other events. This is a picture from Level Up Salzburg. And seeing how people perceive your game, and seeing people how they talk between each other. Hey, what's the strategy that I can use here? It's something amazing that you do, right? That really motivates you. And so as a side note, if you are ever in Vienna at the central train station, right, the main central train station, there is an XP gaming lounge where you can play games made in Austria, including Cosmic Resistance. So, and I remember the last time I was there was 2 boys. 2 boys were playing, each of them Cosmic Resistance, and each of them wanted to see how many levels they can make faster and so on. So it really felt good seeing that. So I think this is the 3 points that really are good, the good side of the passion in that regard. But of course, there's also the dark side of it, right? Because I love Star Wars. So passion has a dark side. It pushes you to work when you're exhausted. Passion becomes pressure, and that sometimes really nearly can also maybe kill your passion for it or kill your hobby because you feel too much pressure, and you shouldn't feel it. So I remember working on Cosmic Resistance late at night, modifying attack rate, damage, HP of the ships, the armor, the resources, and in the end just breaking the game. And after working for I think it was 2 or 3 in the morning, I said I should stop this and I should never do this again, because honestly after 11 p.m. nothing good happens, and this is the reason why, because you're too tired to do anything, right? So, and the thing is, when I wasn't working on the game, I also felt guilty. When you come at home, you spend time with your family, you put your kid to sleep, and you just want to relax on the couch and watch a movie or do something that maybe was not in line with my view of being productive, I felt guilty, right? And this is one thing that we talked about it also with Dan, the burnout stuff. It really pushes you, right? You really get lost in doing the stuff that you love, but it's really damaging for your health, and you really need some healthy guidelines in that regard. And I will touch upon the healthy guidelines when I'm talking about the balancing act, right? And this is how I felt, right? Being a kid with all that stuff, I love doing games, but sometimes it was too overwhelming in the beginning, right? Now, the passion, we have the good side, the dark side. Let's move on to the paychecks, the good side of paychecks. Any ideas? What's good about paychecks? Of course, the money. So the good side of paychecks, the money, is you can sleep on it, right? As you can see in this picture. So, but when you talk about money, having a day job is a huge safety net, right? It meant that in the end, I didn't need Cosmic Resistance to be a successful, financial success. We had some freedom to experiment. We had some freedom to fail in making games, right? And that freedom actually was good, because from the beginning we knew that we are not one-hit wonders when it comes to game development. And also a good side of Paycheck is it funds your passions, it funds your hobbies. So the dark side of the dark side of paychecks. I think these pictures sums it up very well, right? So the job creates friction. It eats the best hours of the day. It drains your energy, and sometimes deadline collide, right? So, but also another dark side is it funds the passion, and sometimes hobbies, passions, projects can be so expensive. So you need to have a good justification to your wife or partner why you want to fund them, right? But yeah. Good. This is the dark side of paychecks. Moving on to Parenthood, the good side, the joy of it. So the joy is real, right? So it brings a different perspective to life. Having children just lets you discover the joy of simple things. So we live near a lake here, and me and my son, he's 3 years old. We go to the lake, and he sees little fishes. He sees big fishes. He sees rocks. He wants to throw rocks at the fishes, and all this. When he picks up a rock, hey, look, Dad, this is so awesome. It's so round. It's like amazing, right? So when you see such a tiny human so happy, it motivates you, and also again the perspective that it brings to it. I know. The perspective of enjoying simple things in life, I think, is very important, right? And I also started to bring him to smaller events where I showcase my game for player testing and so on. And at Vienna Comics, that was this year, he was telling people, "Hey, this is my game. This is Daddy's game." Like, it was a proud father-son moment there, honestly. So from my talk, I know I have another half an hour, 40 minutes. But from my talk, I want you to remember three things, right? This is one of them. Family, having kids, brings an interesting perspective. The joy to rediscover new things is amazing, and we should rediscover it. Right? So, moving on to trade-offs of parenthood, right? And also maybe you started noticing here that I did not call it the dark side of parenthood, because there is no dark side to parenting. There is only, as a parent, you're only tired. That's for sure. So I think for the next also couple of years, I will be just tired in that regard. So, but parenthood brings chaos, right? Babies, toddlers don't care about your deadlines. I learned to work in nap sprints. So whenever he was napping 2 times a day, I would do some work on the game. And I remember one night, one night it was again like 2 or 3 a.m. and I found myself just working on the game, and then just hearing him like fart, and I found myself being on diaper duty, right? So game dev in diapers, agile development, I would say at its finest. But parenthood means also trade-offs, right? So you have this weekend, you have busy weekends because you have to organize your life around your kid, around yourself, bringing him with you. And I would say maybe the weekends are not lost, but you have to choose diapers over Unity assets. You have to say sometimes no to events, right? Because honestly, no to events and no to crunching or working on the game, because your family always wins. So I remember once there was another event that I could have gone to play test my game, and in the end I decided not to go. In the beginning I felt a little bit like maybe I should have gone, but I can tell you that at the end of the day I was super happy that I stayed and spent time with my family. It was the right call in that regard. Now, parenthood, the trade-offs. Now moving on to the collision of the 3 P's in life, right? So when all of them collide, passion, paychecks, and parenthood. Let's take it very simple. I think you noticed that I do like very simple. I would say I like the elegance. I see the elegance in simplicity, right? So when you have passion and paychecks, there is no family time. When you have paychecks and parenthood, you have zero energy. And then you feel like this. Oh, okay, so I felt I really want to have time for passion. I really want to have time for my job. I really want to have time to my family. And you start moving knobs here and there and organizing and doing deadlines, and but in the end it didn't work. It doesn't work, right? So passion plus parenthood also equals no money. So you cannot just concentrate on family and your passion. And in the beginning, I would say, so maybe I should just reiterate the fact, it worked in the beginning because you have a lot of energy, right? You feel like this. You multitask everything. But sometimes it hits you back, right? For example, I remember in April, I had to give a talk about AI in augmented reality in France. And that was the first week of France. I needed to meet potential customers there. And then that was the first week. Friday, I flew back to Vienna. Saturday, I spent time with my family. Sunday, I had to drive to a game developer conference, the Reboot Develop Blue in Croatia. And then there's another 5 or I think 4 or 5 days of just standing there talking about your game. But these 2 events, like giving a talk about AI, meeting customers, is not something that you can just, fix in a day or prepare in a day, right? And also for the game developer conference, it's not something that we say let's just go. We need to organize about it. You need to decide the demo that you're showing off, because you want to show yourself being professional also in your day job, also in your passion or in your hobby. And in the end, even if you go to a game developer conference, you can potentially meet their investors, publishers, and so on, right? So each event takes a lot of time to prep. And of course, for the hobby, you also don't want to waste the budget there, because it's your own money, and wasting a couple of thousands of euros just to say, hello, we can make games. It's not the idea. You only want to get more out of it, right? And I remember after, and then the third week there was another, I think it was Easter, spending time with the family. And the fourth week there was another event in which I went with Wojtek to play test it, right? And then after this weeks, the 4 weeks, I was dead, honestly. So I got the horrible flu. I say, so just for the record, I got the man flu, which is not type of any flu. It's the man flu, which is a very serious flu. And I was out, I think, for 1 week, right? So pushing yourself to do all the three things at maximum, it's not ideal. It's not something that I would recommend, right? And now comes the answer for it, right? The balancing act. The key is this, right? Balance doesn't mean equal. It means sustainable. Some weeks passion wins, some weeks paycheck wins, some weeks parenthood wins. The goal isn't perfection. It's finding your orbit. I hope you see what I did here. So you can live, so finding your orbit and a rhythm that you can live with it, right? For example, yesterday my son came at 4 o'clock. I usually have to work until 5. And then he said, hey, do you want to go and play ball? I said, let's do it. And we went outside and we played ball for 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. It was awesome. We really enjoyed the time together. One thing that I can tell you about scheduling everything, it's good. It's healthy to do that. But one thing, you should also be flexible. Because whenever you need it the most, especially with a toddler, someone will get sick. So my son at kindergarten, every week, I wonder what new viruses he will bring back home, right? So, sorry. And I usually plan my day around my family. So let me maybe deep dive a little bit how I do my scheduling and how I try to work around this, how I try to find, my orbit for it, right? I usually plan my day around my family. I wake up, bring my son to kindergarten, and use any dead time in my day to work on my game, right? So this is very important because also after he gets after I bring him to sleep, I usually also work for 1 or 2 hours, but not more, because nothing good happens after 11 p.m., right? So what I can tell you when it comes to passion, what I learned is this: passion is the fuel. For Paychecks, my mantra is don't fight the day job, leverage it, right? It finds your dream and gives you transferable skills. And I will talk more about this in the next slide. And parenthood, of course, the most important thing is family comes first. I told you I want you, after this talk, you should remember 3 things. The second thing that I want you to remember is flexibility. No matter the plan that you have, you have a lot of things to do, right? It's chaos with as a normal person, you try to schedule, you try to plan for it, right? But be aware that having a family and having a hobby and having a day job, you need to be flexible because things change a lot, right? As mentioned, my son got sick, my wife got sick. I need just to help them. Family comes first, right? So being flexible is the second most important thing that you can do when it comes to planning your day, and also planning on how to work on your hobby and or passion. Let me get a glass of water. Okay, now the human side of the story, right? So parenthood as perspective, the corporate, the game dev part, and also the relationships here, right? So I want to say that parenthood, right, as perspective, is the joy of discovering new things. Kids don't care about team reviews. And the good thing is failures in the game development sting less when you got bedtime stories to tell your kid. It's fun. He laughs, and it's very contagious, I would say. And then with the corporate and game dev start. So the skills that you learn in your day job can be transferable to your game dev job. And the skills that you learn in making games are transferable into your corporate job. And I just want to highlight here 2 things. You see now for consumer apps, and also for enterprise applications. So for consumer apps, I see more and more how consumer apps like Duolingo just so they take stuff from successful mobile games and implement it. Right? You heard the term gamified, but they're trying to do it right with the daily streak. It's something that was pioneered, let's call it like that, in hyper casual games, in casual games. And then they took it because you saw they want user engagement. They saw that they can bring back the people and they can spend more time in their app, right? This is one thing. On the enterprise app, when you make a game, the first hour is crucial. The tutorial for the game, how you present the game, making it not too hard, not too easy, and just finding the way there, and finding the perfect, I would say, the perfect feeling for them, and how to learn the game, and also making sure that the content is interesting for them is a skill. And having a bad tutorial will definitely break your game. This is also what happens for enterprise applications, especially. I know, so enterprise applications need to bring value to customers and blah 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 blah. But when it comes to the people who are using the enterprise application, are still people, users. We call them users in game dev. In the game industry, we call them players, right? But still, the onboarding part of making sure that the user knows how to use your app is crucial, because they will have pushback and so on. So this is what I'm preaching here. I would say that your skills that you learn in making games can be transferred to your corporate job, and the skills that you learn in the corporate job can be transferred to the game job. And as a smart, as a person, if you know him, Steve Jobs would say, just believe that in the end that the dots will connect, right? Enough talking about corporate and game dev relationships. So you need to have a supportive partner. This, for me, which I'm trying to make the hobby, I'm trying to make from my passion and the hobby, I'm trying to turn it into a business. Without having a supportive partner like my wife, none of this would actually work, right? So, and also finding a partner for week you're boredom with Alex. Alex is a brilliant coder, and I trust him with everything that he does. And having this good foundation is critical it's critical for me, right? And making this possible. Oh, good. Now, the takeaways of it, right? I'm talking about the playbook, some important parts. So the playbook: start small, progress is progress. Balance isn't equal outward, it's sustainable rhythm. Don't do it alone. Find a partner or a community, and remember, done is better than perfect. I just want to add some other stuff, and then I will come back to this important step mentioned here. It's never too late. You don't need to quit your job to start. And if you're waiting for the perfect moment, it doesn't exist. Just do it. Just effing do it, right? But now coming to this point of the last point, done is better than perfect. I think I told you 3 points, right? The third point is this one: done is better than perfect. Actually, just talking before the stream started, I was talking with Dan, and he also mentioned like 99% of the developers who make games actually don't finish a game. And I think this is very sad, to be honest with you. And also, in your game dev experience, you need to create games. You need to make games from idea to publishing. From the beginning, I think I mentioned this, me and Alex knew that we are not a one-hit wonder team. We knew that we're not going to create the next Stardew Valley. We knew that we're not going to create the next Balatro. We're not that good at it, honestly. And maybe also you can be you can also be a little bit lucky in that regard, but we were not lucky. I mean, we knew that we were not lucky. So we took a very analytical approach. We said that we need to make games. We need to finish them, and then we learn stuff, right? Well, I remember, so I've just, so let me rephrase this. A couple of weeks back, I was just reviewing Space Moon Lander because I wanted to edit in Voitech, make something interesting there. And I was thinking like, Alex, did we make this game? It's horrible, but it's good. It's good that I found it horrible, because it means that I learned a lot of stuff making cosmic resistance, and I'm learning a lot of stuff doing void tech, right? And the process is like you need to flush all the bad games out of your system, and then in order to create good games, right? I'm not saying that cosmic resistance is a bad game or void tech will be a bad game, but every time you learn new things, and this is important, all small steps. The Japanese coined it being kaizen, right? Improve 1% a day. That's awesome. Just do it. Now, just closing talks. This is the last one of the last slides that I have here. Is passion. So passion keeps you moving. Paychecks keep you safe. Parenthood keeps you human. Juggling all three is messy, but it's worth it, right? If I can do it with all this chaos, so can you, right? I just want to say, maybe just saying it in another way. So, passion gives you the spark, paychecks gives you stability, and parenthood gives you perspective on it, right? So, I know together, all this mix up of things that are happening, they made my experience doing games, it was slower, messier, harder, I would say, than I ever imagined. But they also made it funnier, richer, and more meaningful than I could have ever dreamed, right? So again, if you're waiting for the perfect moment to chase your passion, don't. Just life won't stop for you, and find your orbit and start anyway. So I think this is my last slide. So thank you. This is what I have planned for you today. I know I'm a little bit earlier, but let's move on to the Q&A. So, and also, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, just feel free. I'm open to connections on it. So I may be okay. So I'm done sooner than I should have been. So yeah, I see here from. Should I start reading the question? So there is a question from Gendo Glow. Would you say it's acceptable to put your games development on hold when you're jobless to find a new day job? It's a very difficult question, to be honest with you. Okay, and I see your son is 9 years, so you'll never stop being tired. I think it depends on where you are. So I find myself, doing game development and finding jobs. Maybe you could do this. Maybe you could do the search together, right? You could work on your game and also apply for jobs, right? Schedule it, and just make, hey, for the 1 hour a day, I'm just going to apply to all the jobs that I want. I'm going to do that. Hey, Dan, sorry, I was a little bit too soon.
No, that's all right. My internet we moved, and my internet just keeps going out for some reason, but that's okay. But yeah, you were doing good. Thank you so much. Did you want me to hit some questions that we got?
Yeah, so I went over Gendo Glow's questions about would you say it's acceptable to put your game development on hold when you're jobless to find a new day job, right? So, and also here or her son is 9 years old, so definitely. My answer is this: you need to decide for yourself. I think you can do both of them. Look for a job and work on game development, and also honestly, just looking for a job on a 8-hour basis, I think it's not healthy. So doing some game development on the side to get yourself out of that, I think it's healthy, definitely. I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leonette, what do you suggest for very new devs wanting to start doing workshop events, but also balancing work?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So this is let me see how can I answer this. So definitely you need to organize yourself, right? I think it's important for new days, especially if you're a new game developer, start with something simple. I know as me and Alex did, we just made the space. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We just made the simple game Moonlander, launched it, because you have to familiarize yourself with the concept of making games from ideation to actually publishing something. And I can tell you, even if you want to publish on iOS and Android, there's certain things that you have to do, and there's always things that you can learn. Even on Steam, the entire process of launching and creating a game. So you work on the game, then you have to have the Steam page, and you have the Steam capsule art, then you have localizations that you have to work on, right? So definitely try to make a simple game. Maybe you go to game jams to find people that complement your skills. And also, when it comes to balancing your work, I think, again, you shouldn't just go head in first. You should just maybe experiment with your hobby and just go to game jams and then try it out from that regard. Yeah.
So, like for me, for example, I've been in the gaming industry for a long time, and I made one game by myself. I solo dev'd it, but that was over 10 years ago. So I work full time, and then I have a little overtime. But there's a game that I want to make, and I've only got several months. So it's really all about scope. So that leads up to the question: somebody that is doing that, someone that's working, maybe they know about coding, maybe they don't. What kind of game, what's a time limit you think that people should do? If you could go back and be like, okay, I'm working, this is my first game, I want to do it by myself, what kind of time limit should you do, and what kind of game should you make? What kind of how much after work should you work? What would you do differently?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question. So I would definitely I would do, honestly, will not change anything. I would just start with a small game, just copy old games, right? So what I do, I think there was a question, do you take any inspiration from what your toddler plays? I remember this brought me, I remember when I was small, my dad would buy these CDs who had like 9 games inside of them, right? And then you get, I think in Europe you buy it from the biggest chain, but I think in US you bought it from the bigger stores. So you can see those type of games. I go to thrift shops and can see all the 9 games that are bundled in a CD, and just look at them and try to replicate them. It's a simple thing. It doesn't require too much effort from that perspective. And you should, if you're trying to really at the beginning, set a deadline for you. Let's see how many. Let's see in a period of 1 or 2 months. How much of a game can I make out of it, right? Can I copy it? Can I do the same mechanics? Do I need artwork? And also, just if you're just thinking, go on itch.io, you will find there a lot of free assets that you can use in your game, and then also maybe a little bit of vibe coding depending on your skills there. But you can really now in our I would say time and age, in 1 or 2 months you should. So my advice, just for 1 or 2 months, try to make a game and see how that goes, and keep the scope very small from the beginning.
Very, 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 very small. Very small.
Yes,
it's not always amazing, and there's game jams on there all the time.
Yes.
Here's one from Garatar. Would you get into a project that goes over 2 years as an indie dev?
No, I mean, I said from the beginning, my initial thought with Alex, and this is why we founded Weekly Boredom, every project should take us a maximum of 6 months. It took us 1 year. And with Wojtek, I think depending on, honestly, if we get funding, we will invest more time in it, of course, because we got the money and the funding to do it. But no, if not, we're just gonna stick to the 1 year limit and launch that game no matter what, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Will has a good comment. I'm going through the job hunt myself, also a parent and game dev on the side. I don't have a schedule, just to apply to at least one job a day, study, game dev, and spend evenings with family. Applying to one job a day is not really that much. It's not.
So I would definitely spend 1 hour a day applying to jobs, but I honestly like it. Just apply for jobs for 1 hour, study, do game dev, and spend time with your family. I think that's awesome. That's awesome. That's
right.
Yeah.
Right. When I was a kid, My mom would be like, nope, if you're looking for a job, that is your job. You spend 8 hours a day looking for a job.
No,
That
I
mindset
really,
that mindset did kind of come over on me. So game dev is a culmination of a lot of disciplines. Do you find a new hobby from game dev, like music, art?
that's a tough one. I don't think so. So I personally find art very annoying myself because I don't know how to do it. But of course, started to use Blender, started to use how to edit pixel art and so on. But I didn't find any new hobby in that regard. It's just yeah, no
And a
new
lot of
hobbies.
people, yeah, a lot of people think for making a game you have to be an artist. But number one, you've got to be able to make a game with a square. But also, there's tons and tons of free assets.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, at first the guilt moat made it impossible for me to work on the game. I apply to at least 10 a day and then also help other indies with marketing.
Sounds
Yes,
awesome.
that's awesome.
Yep.
So what do you mean guilt? The guilt made it impossible to work on your game. That's interesting. What does that mean? If you could answer that. So anyways, talking about hobbies, what other hobbies do you have?
Okay, so funny thing, I'm a sauna meister here in Europe, especially in Austria. I like going to the sauna, and my wife saw that I do it, so I went to a 3 or 4 day course, and I'm a sauna meister, which means that I can know how to get the towel and wheddle you about it and talk about it. So there is a session. I don't know if you're familiar. Of course, it's a session that usually takes around 15 minutes. A person comes in the sauna, has some special essences to it, puts it on the hot coal, and just talks you and just relaxes you and really makes a very hot atmosphere there. So definitely sauna. I like going to the sauna. And then yeah, that's it. So honestly, I don't know if you call it. I bike. We live near a lake here, so we do whatever we can. We swim in the lake. We have a kayak, a standing paddle. So whatever makes sense in that regard.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it is.
Also, I don't know if that's gender or genda. Much like you said, applying to jobs was my job, so any time not spent on applications was wasted time. Yeah, that does make you feel that way. Especially, just the way that the job landscape is right now. It's more and more, just not even in the game industry. It's just more and more difficult to get any kind of
It's difficult. Yes, 100%,
decent job.
100%.
So, what's your favorite game right now?
My favorite game, Helldivers 2. I play it a lot. I find it so I play it. It's a social game. I like to interact with my friends whenever I play games. Definitely Helldivers 2. We played a lot, especially now that you have caves in it. So quite amazing. And then what I also started playing again Rome Total War. Just so for the sake of it was very fun. Yeah, but the games that I usually play now it's Helldivers 2 because it has the social aspect of speaking with my friends and just interacting in it. Yeah.
So are you going to in the future work because you like the social aspect? Are you going to make a game that has deep social aspects?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, it's a good question, but it's not feasible for the size of our team to do that, right? To be honest with you, thinking about all the networking, all the multiplayer stuff, all that stuff, I think we need to stay the size of our team and the scope of our team should stick to single player PC games. This is something that we can achieve and do it well in that regard. Yeah.
So your new game that you're working on is quite different than the other game, than your first game, right? So
yes.
How was the shift in that going from that to a totally 3D immersive first-person game?
The shift was quite big, and I from the beginning when going from a 2D casual RTS game moving on to the 3D simulator game. When we discussed it, my concern, and currently also now is the performance aspect. Hey, can we bring it up to 60 FPS on a low end PC? And this takes a lot of time and takes a lot of managing the assets. It's a big change because it brings a new dimension to it, especially in space. You have all the dimensions for it. But in the end, it's a nice challenge that me and Alex really are looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay, we got a couple comments before we get out of here. This job market, that mentality will kill you. And it's Gendo, like Gendo Akari from Evangelion. I actually have never seen that, but I get it.
You should.
She is a Harji. And this is from Will. Every day it's different. Some days are just 100% job search and applications. It can be draining for sure, but it's got to be done, right? Trying to increase your skills to make yourself more marketable. That's right. That's right. You want to make sure and have the plenty of things on your resume that you want to do. Never put something on, if you're good at something or you do something, but you don't want to do that, do not put that on your resume. For sure. Don't do that. Like I know animation and animation rigging, but you're not going to see that on my resume because I don't like to do it. But
it's awesome.
For sure. Do you have any final comments you want to share with everyone?
No, just if you're making games, just keep up the good work and just release it. Definitely that. And it was a pleasure giving this stuff. I see some people really found it. It resonated with them, so I'm really happy about it.
Did you want to also shout out your website? And
yeah, definitely. So our website is wecureborden.com. When you go in the section about our games, you can find all the games that we released and also the project that we canceled in the end. So yeah, definitely.
Excellent. I'm going to put that. Oh, thanks, Tom. I was just going to pop that. Oh, I can pop it in there because then everyone will see it too. There we go. Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been great. We really appreciate you coming on here. This is a great talk, and it helped me a lot. And it looks like it helped. Here come the LinkedIn invites. Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next, Jay's going to be ready. He's got somebody in the can right here. So enjoy. And we've also got all day tomorrow. Thanks, Mario.
It was a pleasure.